Have you ever been? Have you ever been to Electric Ladyland? Okay, well, guess I had to wait through the holidays to do this and get back on the same topic again slightly. Um, went to Anton's channel after um, reading his comments that he left on my last video, and he had his sourpuss video up. Have you ever seen people walking around all mopey? They're sourpusses because they're not getting on their way. Have you blah blah blah? And I'm just like, wow, God, that's timely that the most recent video is there, and that he's got this sourpuss video up. I wonder if he's trying to tell me something. I thought, well, I'm not a philosopher proper. I have other things that I do, but um, anyway, so I wanted to get on, and so that's why I'm on. And the last thing that Anton wrote, you know, was, well, something to the effect. I don't even have the page up. Is if you want to argue, essentialism. Oh God, I don't even know. It's not even particularly important. Just an argument about essentialism. Um, that he'd be game if I was for it and wanted to take a position or denying it. And then um, below that, he said, and he's been writing on comments that I've written on his page that I don't know what you mean. I didn't know what you mean. I still don't know what you mean. And then at the end of this last comment, he writes a difference of I'm interested in when a difference of degree becomes a difference in kind. And I thought, oh, okay, that's fair. Why not? And so I sat there and I thought, God, as far as how it is I gauge a difference of degree and a difference of kind has to do a lot with just perspective in general in terms of how much do I want to extract, flesh out similarities, and how much do I want to pay attention um, to distinct differences? How much do I want to find differences and focus on them, and how much do I want to make parallel to similarities? And if I find enough differences and want to focus on them, I'll say there's a difference in kind. But I'm certain Anton has something different in mind, such as Heidegger. Anton spent a few videos talking about Heidegger and talking about the difference between humans and animals in terms of humans having an environment and or humans having a world and animals having an environment, humans dying and animals ceasing their biology. And that these are, he's treating this as in, okay, so humans and animals are different in kind, and that's the distinction there. And this is my point, and this has been, several videos. It's just like, wow, I've tried to go at this, and granted, I'm fumbling all over, or I'm off on tangents trying to get back, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And I mean, I even woke up today with, God, I just feel like a spirit in the material world, and everything's known, and I've got a lot of stuff to do and get on my way, and I'm a sourpuss in my own sin, and that I'm not getting certain things done and stuff like that, right? Because I'm part of the Western Occidental canon, as I'll put it. That's my argument. Anyway, so, wow. I wanted to make an analogy to why it is the Piraha language is a different kind of human language. And it's not just a difference of degree. And I guess the analogy would be found in if I can get the analogy to be accepted or seen, and to get a sporting analogy, if you will, to get it to be seen as difference in kind. Now, I'll say that, let's say that the way we speak language is like speaking, is like playing football, and we have the overhand pass in football. Okay, and then let's say that oral languages are like rugby. They're very similar to football in a lot of ways, but they don't have the overhand pass. Um, and so the overhand pass is the written word. And so, you got the Europeans show up, and they show up to the Americas, and they're like, hey, look, we can write this down. We have this overhand pass. But we're like, wow, our game is a lot like your game. And for all the differences when they showed up of seeing savages run around and half naked and feathers and this and that and just the way they lived, the differences must have been astounding. But to find out that they're playing rugby and we're playing football is so substantially similar in that they measure things between lines. Let's say to set the ball down between lines is like embedding. And let's say that their teams, wow, they have different colors, different jerseys on, different colors. And they have groups of people on one side clashing against the other. They have defensemen and the main strategists in the back. So they kind of have a hierarchy. And they're playing against one another in order to get to goals. They have goals at the end. They have a specific drive, something that they're going towards. In football, it's a lot about money and fame. Now, I mean, it's huge and it's on TV and it's all part of our media culture. Where rugby, not so much, but it can be viewed. And so, wow, hey, we're going to teach you how to throw the overhand pass. That's so significant, and it's going to blow your mind. We're going to teach you how to write. And whoa, before then, you know, the Indians, I guess, thought it was magic, according to Anton's little story there. Um, okay, and so how about like so to me those are hugely common, and the the Piraha language would be like grappling, right? It would be like on a way to fight, two people grappling. And if you looked at them and put them in a cage, then you might call it a sport. But otherwise, let's say that their language is like grappling. Okay. And to say, what's the difference between grappling between two people and rugby, or grappling and football, right? Because I'll even before I go there talk about, well, let's say we talk about oral noetics. Well, okay, how about oral noetics? Well, that's maybe more like cricket. Uh, I think I have the sport right, cricket, where you have the poles. Oh no, it's not cricket. Oh, I'm forgetting the name, and in the middle of a video, I can't believe it. Anyway, the sticks and the ball, and it's like football, but with sticks and a little ball that you throw back and forth. Lacrosse. So oral noetics, wow. With its clicks and its sticks, it's like oral noetics. And but it doesn't have a football or football-esque thing, but it's still communicating things through sticks, so sounds and hummings and clicks. But the Piraha language doesn't have a ball. It doesn't have a football. It doesn't have a rugby ball. It doesn't have a ball. Let's call the ball just having a ball the ability to count, right? And let's call having teams that specialize hierarchies. And let's say that wearing different jersey colors is having the ability to see color and talk about it, make a distinction. Let's say that putting a football or having a ground where you separate your position on a field and you lay a ball down um, is is embedding, its recursion. Let's say that having instant replay is having a history, or let's say talking about the last play, comparing it to the next play, is having a history. Now, the reason I bring this analogy up is because obviously grappling, if you brought in a football, and you said, well, here to the grappling people, they don't have a use for it, they set it down. No, 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 pick it up, throw it, hold it this way. And they set it down, or they grab it and they move it and they hold it for a day and they set it down. They don't have a use for it. They don't play. They don't have teams. They don't have colors. They don't have counting. They don't have anything that they can relate to in terms of what it means to have all of these attributes that we would say, or that Anton insists that humans have. As a matter of fact, my whole critique of this is that his critique of language and all of the assumptions of language is that it's like football and it has all these attributes. And if it doesn't, we can certainly go in there. I've even got comments in my last video like, oh, they don't have mathematics. Are they capable of having mathematics? It's kind of like, are they capable of holding a football or having a football? It's like, boy, it's almost unacceptable if they don't have it. We better introduce it to them. And so it's this notion, it's first of all the claim that they all have it. And so the ubiquitous sweeps of we, XXX, or, etc., ellipses, we are like this. Humans are like this. Let me tell you the facts, Anton says. I want to tell you the facts, right? And so what he does is he continues trying to first claim and define what language is. Because God forbid there be a functioning language that's hidden way off in the forest that's so far away. It almost puts his little paradox to shame, because it shows that his approach, granted he's in media ecology and media literacy, writing, TV, internet, any device for the transference of communication that they don't have. That's what's included. It's modern language. So really, instead of saying this is how humans are, he's saying this is how modern humans are. Right? But well, these people are contemporaries of ours, but they're not modern. And so the problem is kind of like Howard Zinn, these people don't have enough of a voice, and I mean the Amazon's shrinking and people are including, well, this is just unacceptable to believe they don't count. Let's go down there and study and count. So they get neuroscientists to go down there and other people to go, well, wait, they are counting, or they refuse to count. And then you got people going, no, they can't count. It's not in the grammar. Well, no, give them a football. Show them the game. Like put them in these colors. Like give them the word. Well, then it's not their language anymore. So what I'm saying is here we have a human society living, speaking, breathing, and their existence is more immediate, much like an animal, much more like they're living in an environment and not in a world. So all these notions that language must have these things, must have them, is either simply not the case, or it's a matter of manifest destiny. It's a matter of a football commentator, kind of like, hey, I'm a Euro white guy, and we've already conquered the Indians and showed their rugby how to be football, and cricket, that's just an offshoot. And this other one, that's just degenerate. That's sourpuss. That's sourpuss there. We're not going to have any of that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be so certain that they're not a difference of kind, and I'm going to refuse to admit that they're a difference in kind, that we're either going to ignore the topic and sidestep and defer it, or we're going to get in there with repeated infiltration and go against the Star Trek Prime Directive for cultures and teach them our way and annihilate their language. So in retrospect, the victors can say, yes, we won, and this is the way it's always been. Right? So that's the big criticism. That's where I get all like, ooh, and jump around like a monkey and beat my chest and go, ooh, hey, Anton, you know what, buddy? You're overlooking something. We have what you might want to call a degenerate existence. And it's living, and it's breathing, and it's as human as you and I. And it's there, buddy. It's kind of like William Burroughs. I don't think you've learned enough of William Burroughs in Decadent Society, or maybe Charles Bukowski, into the fact that, people that are not, how does he phrase it? People that do not go insane, what miserable lives they must have. And so basically I'm claiming when I say you're religious, you're like a religion, and you're like manifest destiny, and you're like Euro idealism, and you're sitting on an authoritarian hierarchy looking down and pissing around. Well, that's what I mean. Comment, subscribe.